Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. How are you, students? Today we will study physics, lecture number 33, class first year. Chapter name is waves. Topic is principle of superposition. The principle of superposition may be applied to waves whenever two waves traveling through the same medium at the same time. The net displacement of the medium at any point in space or time is simply the sum of individual wave displacement. This is true for waves which are finite in length or which are continuous sine curve. For example, if we have two waves, this wave have amplitude y1 and this wave have amplitude y2. So the resultant wave will have amplitude which is equal to the sum of these two. The amplitude of resultant wave will be equal to y1 plus y2 because these two waves interact constructively, they reinforce each other. So for superposition, frequency if not same no matter, amplitude different does not matter, but the condition for superposition of two waves is the two waves must travel in different direction. If same direction, they will also obey principle of superposition. Frequency is same, amplitude is same, still they will obey principle of superposition because it is a type of interference. So if two waves interact, reinforce each other, the resultant wave will have greater amplitude. If two waves interact destructively, there will be no wave. They will interfere, they will cancel the effect of each other. Now, superposition, when two waves of the same types arrive at the same time, their displacement will combine to result in a wave of different amplitude. Amplitude must be different. Waves do not need to have the same frequency. So the condition that both the waves have same frequency and same amplitude is not applicable for principle will not important for principle of superposition of two waves. If amplitude is different, frequency is different, still they will obey principle of superposition. Wave interference. Principle of superposition is a type of wave interference. Work for both longitudinal waves and transverse waves. Longitudinal waves will also obey the principle of superposition and transverse waves will also. Here this wave and this wave, wave 1 and wave 2, will interfere constructively, so the resultant wave will have larger amplitude. Here crest, so crest, the resultant wave will have greater amplitude. Crest, trough, so they will neutralize the effect of each other. The effect of each other. Now if you look to the first wave, here crest traveling in one direction, here crest traveling in the other direction. In the second step, they meet at a single point. In the third step, they will interfere with each other. In fourth step, they will reinforce each other. And in fifth step, they reproduce himself, or these waves will be reproduced in the on the opposite side. on the opposite end. This wave will be produced at this end, and this wave will be produced at this end, so traveling in different direction. Now for the destructive superposition, here in first step, trough and crest, here they are come close to interfere, here they interfere, and here they cancel the effect of each other, and here trough is traveling in the opposite direction and crest is traveling in the opposite direction. So from this example we can say that the waves, these waves cancel the effect of each other. This effect will be observed only at a single point, at one location. After that they will interfere constructively, they will reproduce himself, and here they reinforce the effect of each other. Now principle of superposition. Wave, if two waves are in the same place or at the same time, they superpose each other. This means that their amplitude add vectorially, amplitude y1, amplitude y2. So the resultant wave will have amplitude equal to the sum of these two. If more interacting waves, the amplitude will be equal to y1 plus y2 y2 plus y3 plus dot 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 plus yn. Now in this example, crest trough, so interfere, reinforce each other, here cancel the effect of each other, so no wave. Here both the situation will take place, so sometime the amplitude will be maximum and sometime the amplitude will be minimum. Sometime amplitude is maximum and sometime minimum. Now principle of superposition. Pulses move towards each other. Crest move in this direction, trough move in this direction. Pulses destructively interfere because this is crest, trough, and this is crest, so they will interfere destructively. Here no wave will be produced, or wave of less amplitude will be produced. This crest will move in this direction and the trough will move in the opposite direction. They, after interference, they superposition or interacting with each other, they will reproduce itself. Pulse, trough, resultant wave, original crest and trough, original wave will be reproduced. Now principle of superposition states that when two or more waves meet at a point, the resultant wave has a displacement which is the algebraic sum of the displacement of each wave. For example, in this wave the reinforcement will be small and sometimes the reinforcement will be large. So the resultant wave is in, this is the resultant wave, red wave and the green wave will interfere with each other. So might be sometimes they will reinforce each other, sometimes they will cancel the effect of each other. So the resultant will have different amplitude at different point. Now you can see wave 1, wave 2. Wave 1 is moving in this direction, wave 2 is moving in this direction. So here they meet, so larger amplitude. Larger amplitude. Here the wave reproduce after interfering, they will reproduce itself, and here the wave will be also reproduced. After superposing each other, they went back in different direction. Now this is trap crest, this is trap. This is the point of interference. Here they will interfere. Here they will prepare himself to produce himself in opposite direction. This will be produced in this direction, and this wave will be produced in this direction. Now this wave interfere constructively, this wave interfere destructively. It interfere constructively and destructively. Same example again. Now same example. Waves, two different waves interfere, reproduce its original shape. Now this is important. Here crest, here the wave is crest. So both these waves interfere constructively, and wave of larger amplitude is produced. Destructively, and amplitude of larger wave is produced. Interfere waves. Here they will neutralize the effect of each other, because it is crest trap, it is crest, so amplitude will be 0, so no waves will be produced, no wave will be reproduced at this duration of time. In this duration of time, the wave 1 and wave 2 will interfere constructively, crest, so larger amplitude. Here they interfere destructively, here they interfere constructively. So during t is equal to t, and during half of time period, the wave will interact constructively, otherwise destructively. Now this is wave 1, this is wave 2, this is the interference pattern. Amplitude is changing. Because they will interact constructively or sometimes destructively. Now this is wave of smaller amplitude, this is the wave of larger amplitude. Here they will come close, here they will interact, so will reinforce each other. After this wave will reproduce itself, and this wave will also reproduce itself, traveling in the opposite direction. Here the same example but different with different concept. So come close, here they will interact destructive way, so wave of smaller amplitude will be produced, because this wave, the amplitude of this wave is different than this one, they reproduce itself. Now wave interference. In physics, interference phenomena in which two waves superpose to form a resultant wave of greater, lower, or the same amplitude. So constructive interference occurs when the maxima of two waves add together so that the amplitude of the resultant wave is equal to the sum of the individual amplitude. Equivalently, the minima of the waves will be also considered. For example, for interference, we need that two waves must travel in same direction. Same direction. Frequency same, having same frequency. So when two waves are coherent, have same frequency, traveling in the same direction, will interference phenomena will take place, otherwise not. This is the example from ripple tank you studied in class 10th. In class 10, so in here two waves interfere constructively or destructively, interference pattern. Now if you can look, this is wave 1, wave x, wave y, crest, crest. So they will these two waves will interfere constructively, and the resultant wave will be of larger amplitude. This wave and this wave will interact destructively, and no wave will be produced. So destructive interference is this, and this is the constructive interference. Now you can see the red line, the wavelength of red line varies because the green line and blue line sometimes interact constructively and sometimes destructively. Now interference. There are two types of interference: constructive, destructive. Crest of one wave overlaps with the crest of another wave. They will add up, then reinforce each other, and the resultant wave have greater amplitude. Destructively, crest of one wave overlap with the trough of another wave. Amplitude affected are reduced. This is one wave, this is other wave. Constructively, these two waves will interact destructively. Now, this is one wave, this is B wave. If you here the amplitude decreases because they interfere constructively. After this, both wave A and wave B will reproduce itself. Here wave B is traveling in one direction and wave A is traveling in the other direction. Amplitude of wave B is equal to amplitude of wave A, so no wave. Here no wave will be produced. After they interact, both these waves will reproduce itself. Now this is the interference pattern when two waves interact with each other. This is also taken from the ripple tank. Now wave 1 and wave 2. This is the resultant wave. This is another example of interference phenomena in Young double slit experiment. This light is obtained from sodium light. You can see at this point and at this point both the waves interfere destructively. At this point and at this point destructively. This point and at this point destructively. So the resultant wave will have zero amplitude. Blue dots for blue, green for green, sky blue for sky blue, and the last one is black for black. So at each point, each amplitude, the wave will interfere destructively. So no wave will be produced. Condition for interference. When waves come together, they can interfere constructively or destructively. To set up a stable and clear interference pattern, two conditions must be important. The source of the waves must be coherent. Coherent means same starting point, same phase or starting point. Which means they have identical waves with a constant phase difference. Identical wave, amplitude, frequency are same. Two waves should be monochromatic, having single frequency and wavelength. They should be of a single wavelength. So both will have single wavelength and single frequency. So simply you can say that for interference, the source must be coherent and the waves must be monochromatic. For example, we have a single source, so we place slit in front of this source. This is slit and this is slit. Here light will comes and here light will comes. Now this is the source 1 and this is the source 2. As this light, they will reproduce light like this. They will also interfere constructively or destructively. This light is obtained from this source and this light is also obtained from the same source. So both are in phase. Both the sources are coherent. And both these sources are must be monochromatic. Either you take sodium light, red light, blue light, green, you have take single light. Now students, today we studied superposition of waves in which two waves either reinforce each other or cancel the effect of each other. Then we studied interference phenomena. Two waves will interfere if they are traveling in the same direction having same frequency. The condition for interference is the two sources must be coherent and monochromatic. Thank you students. Allah Hafiz. Wish you best of luck. Remember students, next coming topic is beats and waves produce standing waves, stationary waves is the next coming topics. Allah Hafiz. Wish you best of luck.